only have to take 1 pill instead of 3.
That was good, but I'm just gonna say it. I want it blacker from the top.
Now I only gotta take 1 pill instead of 3.
Church lady black.
Ooh, child.
Oprah black.
You get a pill, you get a pill, you get a pill! Why don't you come get this chocolate pie? Yes, Daddy! New audition posted.
For a hooker named Big Butt Bertha.
Perfect!
Oh, girl. No, it's not.
For the next 2 hours, we'll be playing my adopted son. My husband and I took a trip to Taiwan, and we found you in a dumpster behind our hotel.
Like my friend Kevin.
Exactly, just like Kevin. Who Kevin? I'm not gonna apologize for my orgasm. Help me, I'm making bad choices. So they have you working every day. How is that legal?
Well, it's like 5 days in a row, but then I get 2 days off.
That seems fair.
Sweetie, he's married.
To his job?
No.
To God?
No.
To the sea?
You smell good today.
I got McDonald's earlier. Even my bad is good. This is all a part of the journey. We're all out here in these streets struggling from a dream.
Wow, you was a nice bitch.
I know. I'm the nicest bitch. Sweet Jesus, take the wheel!
Ma'am, do you know why I pulled you over?
Because you think I'm cute and you want to take me to a Red Lobster? I'm gonna leave here with some dignity. Okay. Is this glass reinforced?
Nicole, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The show.
Thank you.
Starring you.
What a treat.
It's so funny.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Who are all these people? What is this?
Where
Nobody explained this to me. What is...
You have no idea where you are.
I mean, I don't read my emails. They go, you have these things to do, and I go, okay.
You're a star.
And then I just show up.
That's what a star does, Nicole.
Hey, oh my God, thank you.
So let's talk about this show. You have said that there is no reason for this show to exist. I mean, logically speaking, in reality, that this show exists is almost a miracle.
Yes.
Why is that?
I'm a fat black woman. Who wants to hear those stories? I mean, the last fat black woman with a show I can think of is Monique. And that was so many years ago. So like...
Is that a talk show or did she have a scripted show as well?
No, she had a scripted show called The Parkers. That was a spinoff from Moesha. And it's been such a long time, so it is wild that someone was like, hey, we'll give you a show.
How did that go? What's the story behind how someone said, hey, we'll give you a show?
So I did Girl Code and a couple other MTV shows and then unscripted stuff. And then after a while, I was like, I don't want to do unscripted stuff anymore. So I put my foot down. I was like, I'm not going to do unscripted stuff anymore. And they're like, but we like you so much. And I was like, you know what you got to do. So then, they knew it and they did it. And they gave me a scripted show.
How did you become so, sort of confident in your brand in terms of most people, no matter who they are getting unscripted stuff on MTV and this is great, I'm not gonna, but you putting your foot down, that takes a lot of courage.
I know what I want, and no is the most powerful thing you can say.
What if they didn't give you the, absolutely. Can I ask you a question?
No.
As much as they liked you, what if you had said no and they're like, okay, see you later?
I mean, that would have been them calling my bluff, and I would have had to knock on some other doors and say, excuse me, I'm unemployed, can you help?
Unscripted's okay, actually.
Unscripted's fine, I'll do it.
So what was the central idea going into this? I know that the pilot was different from the sort of first episode that we see now, which is so funny. I've watched 2 episodes of the show. It is so, so funny.
Oh, thank you so much. So the pilot was super different. Suzanne Daniels, who was at MTV, who's now, I believe, at YouTube, pitched an idea of a family show. So originally it was kind of like a fucked up Uncle Buck. I burned down my apartment, move in with my sister and all her kids, and hilarity ensues. But you guys, kids are awful. I don't know how many of you have a kid, but I'm so sorry. Their novelty wore off after 15 minutes, and I was like, I gotta do a season with these people. But then...
stage kids too, I bet.
Oh my God, they knew everything. They would correct my lines, and I was like, you shut up.
Nicole, take it from the
Nicole,
center.
your motivation is nothing. Shut up. You don't know. You're 6. You know nothing. So we turned in the pilot. They really liked it, but then they were like, instead of having Nicole in a situation, let's make Nicole the situation. Let's base it on some stuff from your life. And I was like, I've lived a very fun life. So then that's what we started doing. So when it got greenlit, we didn't have a pilot. So we got greenlit with nothing, which is wild. It is wild that this network likes me so much that they trusted
that's
me
what I was
to
going to
build
say.
a show.
You got greenlit because they like you, which
Yes.
is almost more important than a pilot.
Yeah, it was really cool because we didn't have to, like, you know how like you watch a pilot, then you watch a couple episodes and you're like, now I understand what the show is. Now they found a rhythm. We were afforded to find our rhythm, so I think all the episodes are really great and none are less than the others. And we don't spend very much time explaining the characters. They just appear and we trust that you're smart and you can watch.
And the show feels very different for MTV. Like, I could be wrong. I don't think I'm necessarily the demo for MTV anymore. I might
You're
be a little
not?
too old. Too many grays, maybe?
Oh, stop it. How old are you, 20?
Exactly. Thank you. 20 years old, guys. But it seems to me that every now and then a show comes out of MTV that's a little bit different than everything else that they're making. I think of like Bo Burnham's show from a few years ago that I think got a season. And your show as well feels like it skews maybe to a more alternative comedy audience. Does it feel that way for you?
Yeah, I think MTV doesn't get enough credit for reinventing itself over and over and over again. A lot of their shows are very, very different, and like they reinvented like reality television with the Jersey Shore, and I think that their new comedies are like not reinventing comedy, but like, oh, the Jersey Shore, come on now.
Can we just take a minute and
Ooh, wait, the
reflect
Jersey
upon
Shore.
how wonderful those first 2 seasons of the Jersey
Oh,
Shore
they were
really
great, and then 3, 4, 5 to 17 were the same.
We're going to Italy. We're going to Greece. We're going all over the world.
I was like, what's happening? No. But I do feel like their new comedies are like, they're different than other comedies because they didn't notice very much. Like, we had parameters, but they were wide like a football field. And I think they really let us do what we wanted to do. And I think that's what they're doing. Like, I know a friend who's got a pilot with them, and he was like, yeah, they were pretty hands off. I think they're kind of doing the FX model where like FX is like, hey, Louie, here's a show. Do it. We won't know you. Go do it. Be funny.
Well, it's the idea of instead of sort of taking someone and making them buy into their brand, they're buying into your brand a little bit. Yeah.
What a good way to say that. You're better at answering my own questions.
You're welcome, Nicole.
Okay, I'll steal that and say that later.
So since the show essentially is about you, and I know that there's a lot of biographical elements, how did you work with the writers? Who were the writers? Were they friends of yours, or did you bring in sort of like seasoned situational comedy writers and then sort of work your ideas into them?
The guy who wrote the pilot originally was just someone, they had sent me like a bunch of people, and I interviewed people, and he reminded me a lot of my sister, meaning he was level-headed and like was like, I shouldn't go on adventures. So he wrote the pilot, and then we brought in a showrunner, this woman, Christine Zander, and his name is Christian Lander, so that's why I'm confused. They're very similar, Lander and Zander. And Christine worked at SNL, Third Rock from the Sun, Nurse Jackie, Kevin from Work, so she had just written on so many shows that are like funny in their own different way. And she has not been unemployed ever. Like, she got a job and has just stayed employed. And I was like, that's a good track record. And we just like got along, and then we staffed the room. There's this woman, Jackie Clark, that I used to watch at UCB, who is one of the funniest people I've ever met. And I was like, can we please have her? And then she said yes, and I was like, that's amazing. This woman, Grace Edwards, who was the writer's assistant on Schumer, wrote 2 of the funniest episodes. Did you see the Braids episode?
No, I didn't see the Braids episode.
Wait for it. She fucking wrote it, and it's so good. And then my friend Chioke, I had worked with him on other stuff, so he wrote and then directed 2 episodes. And then this woman, Laura House, freelanced. And then I wrote an episode with my showrunner. So it was like just tons of ladies, and then like a lot of color in my room. And it was like, I think like 40, 60, 60 women, 40 men.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what were some of the parameters that you had were working with them?
So I didn't go in for the first week because I was like, get to know each other, like be friends. And then I came in the second week and they interviewed me. And then they would write down things that they found interesting and then pick my brain like a little bit more about those interesting things and then go off and write a story about it. And most of the true stuff would stay in and then they'd fabricate other stuff.
Did you ever say no? Were you ever like, this isn't how it happened, or I want to do it differently? Or were you pretty much like, you know, I got a show, this is great, and they let me hire the writers, I'm going to just sort of be nice with them all.
No, I was pretty hands-on. I'd be like, I would change this. I kind of like this joke better. This doesn't feel true to what I say. Like, on set, during the braids episode, it was directed by a white guy who was, like, telling extras to do stuff, and I was like, they wouldn't do that in a hair salon. Let's, like, I know what happens in a hair salon, you don't. And he was very open to listening to me about that. Like, everyone on my show listened, which I think is a very important thing. Like at TCA's, it was brought up that I have white executive producers, and I was like, really? You can see their color? But like, I was like, I picked qualified people who I thought were funny, who listened to me.
Well, let's go back to that for 1 second. At the Television Critics Association panel, it was brought up that you have white executive producers.
Yes.
That's interesting to me because it's a show about a black woman and her experiences. It's already a sort of political act to have this show being made. For someone to be like, but wait a minute, there's white people at the helm somewhere in there.
Yeah, and
what did you think about that?
I was wholeheartedly thrown off. I truly was like, what? Because he started it with like, it's weird that you're black and have your own show. And I was like, someone needs a nap. Like, what is wrong with you? And then he went in and like just got meaner, and I was like, you're the meanest man in America. And then I was like, I don't know how to answer. So then like, I like thought about it. And I was like, I mean, there are very few black showrunners at that level. Right. So like, I'm not gonna hire someone that's not qualified. So like Chioke, who's a black man who directed and wrote on my show, in a couple years could be a showrunner. You know what I mean?
And also, just because the showrunner is white doesn't mean that your voice is getting lost. It's still your show, and the showrunner is there to sort of cultivate and bring about your experiences in your voice, and to hire people that can actually get the work done. The showrunner isn't there to be like, no, this is the show. That's what you're for.
Yes. Yes, I was very, very, very hands-on and very involved. And it wasn't like Christine was like, too black.
Well, it's a weird sort of, let's just take this guy down. That's this question.
He was so mean.
Well, it's weird to have some sort of assumption that because there's a white showrunner, all of a sudden the black woman's voice is lost.
Yeah, it was a very wild assumption. So I just kept saying, I was like, people listen to me. That, honestly,
What?
It was like, they listen to you, but you're a woman. I think that's just key. Like, just listening is very, keeping the conversation open is key. Never being like, no, like MTV was never like a hard, well, no, they were like a hard no on some things.
Like what?
They wouldn't let me say pussy as much as I wanted.
I was surprised when you threw out pussy in the first episode. And it was in one scene. It was like, you threw out like 5 times very casually. I loved it, but I was kind of like, wait, does MTV say pussy without
I believe
bleeping it?
Amy Schumer is the one or the person who allowed us to be able to say pussy on Viacom networks. Or channels, yeah. I think she was just like, why can't we say it? We can say dick. Also, I think we can't call someone a dick, but I can be like, I can see your dick. Isn't that weird?
That is weird. Yeah.
Standards is so strange, but they did let me say stink ditch for a woman's vagina. The standards man went, ha ha ha, if you must. He had a very fun sense of humor.
Stink ditch?
Yeah, I had a gay roommate who would call women's vaginas a stink ditch.
Speaking of roommates, I love the guy that plays your roommate. I remember him from the movie Carrie from a long time ago.
Jacob Wysocki is so funny.
He's so wonderful, and
so great.
No matter what you have him doing, I think he exudes a kind of warmth as a human being.
He walked in the room and was the funniest person we had seen, and then I was like, we don't need to see anybody else. This is it. And then I was like, I think MTV was worried. They're like, 2 fat people?
Well,
no.
Like, not to give anything away, you also opened the show with the 2 of you sitting on a couch sweating mercilessly on camera. You know what? Like, it was like a very distinct way of being like, this show is about 2 fat people, like right now, and this is what we're about, and we're not hiding it.
But we also don't like harp on it. Like, we're just 2 people who live in the world. I think what I liked the most about him being like a bigger, I requested, I was like, I only really want to see like bigger dudes, is I wanted someone to be like my perfect mirror, and I think we mirror each other very well.
Well, you're not victims in any way. It's not about like, there's no victimization in terms
No, you will not see me throwing out a box of donuts crying, which is what I saw in a trailer of an actual show that exists. A fat lady was like, oh no. And then she like sat on the floor and she's like, just tell me to lose the weight. I'm like, it's not that serious. Like,
That was a show that the critic at the TCAs was like, I can get on board with this one. This one.
He's like, I like that one.
This one makes sense to my cultural standards. I got it. So I hate to ask what's next for you because you just got this show, but it seems to me that you're the type of person who you got success in this one place, now you want to move on to the next thing, and you've got this show now. Do you constantly have next steps in your mind, or do you have sort of new explorations that you always want?
I'm always looking to the next thing, and I rarely enjoy what's happening currently, which is a very bad thing. I'm like in therapy for it.
Are you really?
Oh, I love my therapist.
Can we talk about this? Because I actually honestly have that same exact problem. I have a really hard time enjoying.
I have a very hard time living in the moment of like success. Yeah. But therapy's really great. Her name's Mary.
What have you learned?
What have I learned? That I'm okay.
No, I mean specifically about this, and I'm asking for selfish reasons.
Oh, she just tells me to like just take moments. Like in the beginning of the day, just like take a moment and enjoy. Like, I don't know, this morning I woke up at the Gramercy fucking Park Hotel and I was like, I get to go talk to people all day. What a dream. People want to do this and I get to do this. And then I went about my day. And I left the cleaning lady cupcakes because I'm nice. Also, I didn't want them.
But finish that story. No tip, right? Just cupcakes.
No, I've been leaving her. I just learned you have to tip hotel people. I just learned this after like a couple years of staying in hotels. So I leave her $3 or $4 every day. Is that nice?
No, that's good.
Is that too much?
I don't know if that's too much. That's good. I usually leave a tip at the end of the stay.
I'm not supposed to do it every day?
I don't think you're supposed to do it every day. I think you do it at the end of the stay.
That is why she is stocking my room. There's so much stuff everywhere. And then I had a friend stay with me, and my friend Sashir was like, the cleaning lady was like, your sister is so nice. I don't know what accent that was, because she's, I think, a white Russian lady, and that was not what came out of my mouth.
That was like any accent you could find that like is not
it's like vaguely offensive.
Yeah, that's not offensive to one ethnicity, but maybe all. Let's be inclusive in who we're gonna offend.
But she's really nice, and I really like her. Shout out to her.
I'm not sure about this. Does anyone know you tip at the end, right? Is that the truth? Okay. Thanks.
Oh my God, I'm embarrassed. I've just been leaving this woman so much money.
That's great.
Do you think she ate my cupcakes?
I mean, she probably ate the cupcakes
Would
too.
you eat them? Because then I started thinking about it. I was
Depends on how they were placed. If they looked clean and like they hadn't been touched, but if they were like in the midst of a mess, I wouldn't touch them.
They're not in the midst of a mess. Some of the cupcakes are gone, but I wrote a note that said, I didn't give her a whole box. So I just wrote, please take some, and then put money under them. I feel like I'm bribing her. Because all I want is just more toilet paper because I steal toilet paper, which is a very strange thing about myself.
That's a very what?
I haven't bought toilet paper in 2 years. I thought I was.
Good for you, Nicole. Good for you. Let's give a round of applause.
Thank you. I thought I was saving a bunch of money.
Doing it, guy.
But I'm not. I looked up how much you spend annually on toilet paper. It's only $54. But then I was like, I started this. I can't stop. So tie it down, everybody. Hotels, mostly. Restaurants, if they're bad. Bars, if it takes too long for me to get a drink. I'll be like, I gotcha.
Is it like you're waiting for your drink and you're like, fuck it, I'm going to go steal some toilet paper.
Yep.
Get these guys back.
Yep. I'm fully employed and have money. I don't know why I just told you people I steal toilet paper. Give me more questions. Talk to me more about my show.
What's been the most fun about writing the show and starring in the show so far? And was it nerve-wracking for you to be the star of your own show?
Everything happened so quickly, I did not have time to get in my head. The writing process was really interesting. I didn't realize how much of a team sport writing a TV show is. So like the room writes an outline, and then when you go home to write an episode, it's literally like paint by numbers. Like it's basically done for you. You just put in the dialogue. Everyone's like pitching jokes. Everyone's like really supportive.
Even a lot of the dialogue are jokes that have already come out of the outline, right?
Yeah.
And like
the outline has jokes in it. Like it's truly very easy for you to write an episode of television after being in the room. And then when I wrote with my showrunner, she was like really nice and was like, I'll do this part, I'll do that part. And I was like, okay, I'll take this scene or whatever. And then shooting it, it was like, it's different than a live show. You don't get instant laughs. So like you'll finish a scene, they'll be like, cut, and you'll be like, was that funny? Nobody laughed. But if they laughed, it would ruin the take. So then you're just like, you spend 16 hours being like, I don't know. And then someone at the end of the day will be like, that was funny. And you're like, okay, thank you.
That's one of those weird things that you wonder about sort of comedians who have gone on from like incredible success in massive movies and started to make massive comedy movies that aren't funny at all. And it's because they had no idea even before, when the ones that were successful, they had no idea if they were good or not.
You don't know if you're funny when you're shooting something. It's very hard. Sorry, I have a little cough. I call it my athlete's cough. Because I played basketball once.
How did it go?
My body said stop, and I developed a cough.
That's that one instance on the court.
Yeah, it was a couple months ago. And it's like bad. I might have asthma. I don't know.
What was your move on the court?
Going, I have to go back that way? Okay. And then I'd make it there, and they're already back here, and I'd be like, again? And my coach was like, yes. Do you not understand basketball? And then after literally 3 minutes, I was like, take me out. He was like, okay. I did very poorly. And then developed a cough after 3 minutes.
I'm sorry to hear that, Nicole.
It's okay. I wasn't made for basketball. Also, I met at the VMAs, the U.S. women's gymnastics team, and it was amazing. And I was talking to Simone Biles, and I was like, I really wanted to be a gymnast when I was little. And she's like, you could be one now. And I was like, you don't understand gravity. Like, you are very tiny. You can flip up to the moon.
There's like an element of her own kind of privilege in saying that.
Yes, she's like, anyone can do it. And it's like, no. No, my time for that is done.
So you were at the VMAs.
Yes, I was.
Can I ask you a question about the VMAs?
Sure.
I watched the VMAs. I'm just confused. I'm mostly confused the whole time.
Okay, fair.
How are you there?
How am I there?
Do you know everything that's going on? Do you get everything that the VMAs are up to? Because I watch them like, who are you? What's this? I don't understand anymore.
Because there's internet famous people, and then TV famous people.
There's music stars, reality stars, TV famous, internet like who are?
And then it's wild. It's nuts. It truly was very, very wild. And then the style of the show was a little hard to understand because it was like commentators. So like Key and Peele were commentators. I was a commentator, DJ Khaled, and then Jay Farrow. So it was just like kind of hard. You saw Beyonce, right? Lord, I love Beyonce.
Love Beyonce.
She like floated down the hallway because I couldn't see her feet, and I was like, she must be floating.
Can I say something controversial?
Oh my God! If it's negative about Beyonce, you can truly see yourself out before you speak.
Blue Ivy got Jay-Z's looks.
No, she doesn't. Look at pictures of Beyonce when she's a baby. Blue looks just like her. Blue's gonna be beautiful. Leave that baby alone. You're picking on a baby. She's gonna do fine. Also, like, she's got more money than we'll ever
she's
have.
fine. She's totally fine. That's why I felt comfortable saying that. Like, she's totally fine.
No, she looks so cute at the VMAs. Beyonce, oh my God, her performance.
Did you meet Beyonce?
Briefly, okay. I'll tell you all the story. So she went to go accept an award, and when anyone very famous walked down the hallway, a bodyguard would scream, "Against the wall!" And you'd have to get as close to the wall as possible so you didn't accidentally touch them, I guess. And so she like went, accepted her award, and then I was like, when she comes back, I'm just gonna poke my head out and go, hello. So she was walking back, and she just looked so pretty, so I went, ooh, what a treat. And then, because she's such a treat. So then she giggled and then touched my shoulder, said thank you, and giggled again. And I was like, I made Beyonce giggle. And then I went to sleep by going, Beyonce giggle. And then I woke up and went, Beyonce giggled. So I've just been saying it routinely. I made Beyonce giggle. So you guys, I'm a living legend.
That's great.
Right?
That's amazing.
Oh.
Let's open up to questions from the audience.
Oh, okay.
Who has questions?
Hi, how are you? First
I'm
of all,
good. How are you?
congratulations
Thank
to
you.
your success. I actually have a question from someone on Twitter, JadaJ21. And since we're speaking of the VMAs, she asked, how did you feel or how did you take it with the shade that's been throwing around at the VMAs towards you and your success in your career?
Oh, people on the internet are so mean. So I retweet hateful things that people say to me on Twitter so they know I have eyes and feelings.
I mean, without dignifying anything that they do say, but what types of shit do you get?
Well, the funniest one from the night was Nicole Byer looks like she's doing a 1994 All That audition. Which means I'm like a very big character, which made me laugh so hard.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you.
It was very funny.
It's a very good reference to throw out as an insult.
Yes, and then someone else was like, I can't remember all of them. But the ones that made me laugh the most are the ones I retweet, the most hateful and then the funny ones. But also, it's like you're sitting at home in Ohio and Beyonce giggled at me, so like I don't care. No offense to anyone from Ohio, but sorry. But also not sorry, you're here. You got out.
Next question.
Hey, Nicole. Thank you for being here. I'm looking forward to seeing the show.
Thank you.
Was it easy or hard for you to break character?
To break character?
Yeah.
Did you break character at all while shooting?
Oh, all the time. I love to giggle. I would ruin many takes giggling. We had like a lot of fun. Jacob is an improviser. Jen, who plays my best friend Veronica, is also an improviser. And then we had like other just friends who were improvisers on the show. So like it was just really fun and funny. And then we had at our rap party a full 10-minute blooper reel of me just saying pussy and giggling. And I was like, yep, that's who I am.
Next question.
Hi, Nicole. Thanks for coming.
Hi.
All right, my question is, well, I kind of would ask you to finish a sentence. Laughter is.
Laughter is good for you. I wish that came out smoother, but it didn't.
Solid advice, though. I think we have time for one more question.
Hey, Nicole. I'm so excited to watch this, and I heard you say before that I think you thought like high school and college are like teaching you how to be a grown-up, and UCB is like teaching you don't ever have to grow up. And I want to know if you have advice on how to like pursue comedy without becoming immature.
Without becoming immature?
Immature or mature?
Wait, what?
Immature or without becoming immature or mature? Oh, immature. Okay, yeah, you're right. Sorry.
I guess that's a tough question. I think whatever your brand of, are you a comedian? Do you do comedy? I would like to. Have you ever taken like an improv class? Did you like it? You can say no.
It was stressful at times.
Okay. If you liked it, I would say continue with it. If you didn't like it, maybe take a stand-up class because nobody's coming to see your improv show. How awful. Like no agent or manager is going to be like, yes, I'll subject myself to that. But they will come see a stand-up show because that is something that is written and rehearsed and like good. Like even if like you bomb, crowds are different and someone who's watching you can be like, oh, she's a good joke writer. She knows what jokes are. This crowd just sucks. With improv, you're like, well, I don't know if that monkey dick would work in another situation. It was in the heat of the moment. I guess it was funny. I don't know. But I think my advice is to like get up as much as possible and not worry about being mature or immature because you'll like find your voice. And as long as you think you're doing well and other people seem to be laughing, I think you're doing well. Did that make sense? I don't know.
That was great. Nicole, when can people see the show?
Labor Day, September 5th, 10:30 on MTV.
So funny. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.